All right, good morning. Let's get started. Let's take a look at some gappers. IBIO. All right, we have a few biotechs and oil stocks, it looks like. So, Dr. Ashley's and Impact Bio announced strategic merger. So, a Hong Kong-based biopharmaceutical company, Dr. Ashley's, and Biomed, a Texas-based biopharmaceutical developer, they are going to announce a merger. So, biotech running on that news, up to $1. Honestly, looks like a short right here. Shorts are a little bit sketchy lately, but looks like the place to try it. Anytime you get this thing pushing up to $1 from 30 cents, that's usually the short. But, we'll keep an eye on it. I don't really like to get in front of these things too early. ECDA, just keeping up on the gappers here, see what's actually moving. So we have, let me throw IBO on watch really quick. What do we have? Rally. Oh, we get rid of this one. IBO. There we go. All right. Automotive Design announces key initiatives to right-size cost structure. That means they're going to fire a bunch of people. World's largest Land Rover and Jaguar restoration company, known for its custom luxury builds. Blah, 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 blah. Comprehensive review of its cost structure, capital allocation, operational efficiency. So they're just announcing that they're going to fire a bunch of people. All right, let's see. We want to put this one on watch too. So let's see, ECDA. Looks like a decent one to watch. Kind of cheap though. INDP. Therapeutics. All right, so we're running on no news. That's our favorite catalyst. Yeah, we'll keep that one on watch too. Again, a lot of these, I want to see them maybe bounce back later for a bounce short. Or some kind of pre-market clear out maneuver. CDTX, higher priced one. $20 to $42 overnight. Pretty impressive. Announces positive results from a phase 2B. Non-vaccine. Okay, so this is seasonal influenza, but non-vaccine preventative. Let's see what this is about. So we are watching the whole COVID sector, vaccine sector, to see if things start popping off over there. this is kind of the first one, maybe, that is getting some steam in that sector. Biotech applying. Okay, announced positive top-line results for its randomized double-blind placebo, phase 2B. For the prevention of seasonal influenza in healthy unvaccinated adults. So what is this, a vaccine for the unvaccinated? What is this? What else? Over 24 weeks. All right, regardless, this is in the vaccine sector, so gonna have to keep an eye on that. And throw that on the vaccine watch list, CDTX. Very interesting. Not really going to trade that one, but it's interesting to see that sector moving for sure. GNPX just started running. Present research on non-viral approach to diabetes, gene therapy. Presented data. Okay, what do they present? Moving pretty good here. Still, it's a cheapie, so maybe worth a watch, but probably not going to touch it. GNPX. All right, OP is a shipper. So obviously we had the bombing of Iran over the weekend. So that's a big deal for the oil stocks. Big deal for the shipping companies. So that was a pretty big gap. And this was a recent runner. So not making new highs. But it really did push that high from whatever this day is, the 16th. So it did test that high on that 4 a.m. pop right there. So definitely interesting. And the shippers are the ones that's one of the sectors that I was going to be interested in if something escalates in the Middle East. So oil and shippers. So we did swing oil over the weekend. Still holding Indo, just Indo. From around $5. So let's see, OP. Definitely need to watch this. I did take it off watch. Let's see, what do I get rid of? Let's get rid of Ride. OP. All right, Hussa, another oil one. We already have this one to watch. This one's kind of gapped way better than Indo. More like a 30% gap. And Indo's kind of more of a breakout chart though. Huss is a little bit more choppy. They did a couple of little offerings over here, so they're not as nice. but the range is better. TMDE, another cheapy oil. Kind of the same as OP, Indo kind of move. It's probably going to fade. RBNE, another one. Oil gapper, but they had an offering, so it's really unlikely to make it back up to the highs. Not a bad idea for a little morning spike play. Also might be a short after the spike. It's not up huge, but yeah, maybe if it pops better, a little bit better than this, then might be a decent short. We'll see. Energy can be a little tricky. 9, more of a mid cap. Energy stock. Oil. Indo's holding up really well. That's nice to see. A little bit of volume kicking in, but you can kind of see the difference between Indo and Hussa, which those are kind of the top 2 small cap oil stocks. Indo's holding its gains much better than Hussa. Hussa's got better range, and Hussa's a smaller float, so it makes sense. But also Hussa did those offerings. Indo probably eventually will do an offering, but hopefully this thing rips first. I mean, they got to pump it before they dump it. So this is not properly pumped yet. And man, this looks like it really wants to break out. So yep, good morning. I just fixed my chat. Good morning, good morning. Indo is threatening the breakout. Yes, it is. So hopefully that will sustain today. At least give us that push over $7. And if it makes it to 7, it can make it to 10. That's the rule. It's more of a guideline. More of a guideline. Get rid of these old drawings over here. We have the most obvious breakout level on this chart is right here, 660, 670 area. We really wanted to push over that. If we can clear that, then we're going to be looking at $7.50, $8. Not even joking. Yeah, ideally 10. We just want 100% on our money. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for much. Just 100%. But you know what? Odds are, depending on how the spike happens in the morning here, it's probably gonna morning spike and then fail, and then it'll have to hold a dip, and then I'll rebuy on the dip. So yeah, depending on how much it spikes here, well, I'll probably sell it and reassess it later, see what kind of dip we get, see where the dip hold is, and then buy back in That'll probably be the plan. Pre-market's looking really good. So not a ton of stuff this morning, just the oil. It's the most obvious play. And looking for shippers. I'm looking for shippers. We have some movement in the shippers. And of course, the biotechs are always kind of popping and dropping. Yeah, the other big watch was SRM. Morning, Scotty. So SRM had this huge breakout setup, which it kind of did, but it didn't have crazy follow through. So one of those liquidity squeezes. You get this big day one, huge volume. And then day two, where'd the volume go? Day three, where'd the volume go? And it starts just grinding up to the high and squeezing out any of these patient short sellers from this day one move. But it really didn't get going too much. It had a really nice morning spike on Friday. 20% move. Kind of holding that breakout area now. So this is something else to keep an eye on for hopefully a secondary move higher. Let's see if it can hold some dips. But mainly we're just watching Indo. We have the swing from Friday from around $5 and looking for the sell on this. Oh, nice push already this morning. Yeah, where do we sell it? Sell it wherever you want. You know, I don't know. Probably want to sell the morning spike and then rebuy later. But yeah, I want to see the open. I want to see the open first. So a little bit tricky though to sell this. The nice thing with Indo is there's not a lot of profit takers. There just aren't any because Friday, this thing wasn't even up. It just held sideways. It was a nice sideways day. A really boring looking sideways day. And it held this trend line right here. So the nice thing is it's not like there's anybody that was buying on Friday, you know, that was up huge, that's trying to sell today. Like over here. Like this is what I'm talking about. So on this first move up on the 12th, that was a big day up. Okay, obviously people are going to be interested in buying that. We got the gap, and then we got the profit takers stepping in and kind of smashing it back down. So it had a crazy day into a crazy gap up. So obviously you're going to have profit takers right there. But this one wasn't like that. It was a nice boring day. So not really on a lot of people's radar that aren't swinging. So you're going to have more patient players in it that aren't going to be so quick to sell. And then now it's gapping, and now it's holding its gains, and now you're going to see people, I don't want to say chasing it, but there's people chasing it. I don't think the dip buy here is chasing it. I think that's an okay entry, but the nice thing is we took it from Friday, so we got in right around $5. So we are trying to see if it wants to keep going. And there's just so many ways it could play out. So it's what's kind of difficult. The main thing is we want a huge breakout. We want the breakout over 660, 670. That's the breakout level. So we're pushing the breakout now. It's sort of the second try at it. So, but this 4 a.m. move is a little bit, I don't know. It's not like there's a ton of volume there. There's a little bit of volume. But these 4 a.m. moves are usually pretty sporadic. All right, so Nugent wants no more than or no less than $10 on this. I think that's a nice target. If it makes it to 7, it can make it to 10. That's what they say. They them do say that. But not a huge gap. Into this 8 o'clock timing. So 20% gap up is good, but that's not really the goal of this kind of a play. Really want 50%, 100%, ideally, something like that. And it's going to be difficult depending on the float and things like that, but we might have to wait a little bit longer since we didn't get the gap up straight to 10. So any kind of morning spike here over 758 would be super nice. So that's going to be my plan. I want to wait for the morning spike. I'm going to risk break even because I think this has a lot of potential still. And with we just bombed Iran, so it's kind of a big deal. And there is news that could come out still with the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran is threatening to close. So they are threatening to close that, which controls 30% of the global supply of oil that goes through that channel. So if that happens, that'll be another huge catalyst. Or if anything else happens with Iran, Russia says something, Putin might say something, China might do something, anything could happen. And Indo, it's kind of like the first leg up. It's kind of like leg 1. And it's kind of a big leg, but if you think about it like a flag on the daily, it's a big flag on the daily. So what's the range on it? About 100%, 80%, something like that, up to the midpoint of this flag. Now, if we break out, things tend to get parabolic. speed up as it breaks out a second time. So wouldn't be surprised if we push 8, 9, $10 this week, today, maybe tomorrow. Hard to say. It's possible. But short term, yeah, we're going to just trade this morning spike. If it fails, that'll be kind of sad. But we want it to either get way ahead of itself here at the open, sell into that, or kind of just chill out and consolidate sideways, and then we swing it again. Anything but go down, pretty much. So I don't know, if I had a bigger position in it, I'd probably be selling some right here. Maybe half. Up 30%, so it's pretty good. CL pulled back and may go again. Let's take a peep at that. Yeah, CL is a big driver for this. CL gapped up pretty big. Pulled back, filled the gap. Now it's kind of holding a higher low. And it's trying to set up for a move higher, it looks like. Also, a huge technical breakout on CL. It did make a higher high right there on the gap up. Came back, filled the gap. Of course, this is going to be choppy, but wouldn't be surprised if it grinds its way up to a breakout. Hard to say. Just kind of hoping here that India doesn't completely collapse on us. We have to survive the failed breakout maneuver. That's it. Unrealized risk. That's it. Hussa pushing pretty nice. So yeah, we should probably gap a couple of these next time. Yeah, it could be dip and rip. It could be dip and rip. Or it could be pop and drop all day fade. Or it could just be a nice sideways day. I'd be happy with a nice sideways day. Haven't seen a super nice morning spike in a while. Needs to hold a higher low. Yeah, it needs to find a low somewhere. And ideally, it just kind of holds in the morning. Maybe a little slight pullback. And then grinds up towards $7. And then rips through 7 and makes it up towards 8 or 9. All right, here's the open. All right, into 7. Nice. Testing 7. All right, we're through 7. Nice spike. I'm probably just going to start selling a little bit. Oh, wait. I sold too much. Whoops, I sold too much. Oh, well. All right, well, I made 40%. This is the morning spike, though. I would recommend selling into this anywhere. Nice. I sold a little too soon, but accidentally had too many shares in there. Oh well. Good enough. 40%. We'll take that. Yeah, that's pretty insane. So you made 52 bucks off a $100 position. Good job. Yeah, that's it. I think this was pretty much textbook. Now it's probably going to fade. I think it needs to. We got the morning spike. And now, maybe it keeps spiking, but maybe it just tops out somewhere, pulls back, holds a dip somewhere, and then sets up hopefully again for another move higher. Should have went bigger. That's how it is when you're right, when I'm right. I wish I went bigger. Hussa's ripping too. Yeah, we could have just tried both of these. Sometimes one works better than the other. Perfect morning spike. So now I'd like to see it pull back to 670, hold 670, and then consolidate all day, and then reclaim in the afternoon. So hopefully it doesn't keep going right here. It could just rip straight to 10, but kind of unlikely. But we're 2 for 2 on our oil swings now. We did battle last week and Indo this week. So many more opportunities coming. It seems like we're going to have cybersecurity, maybe. Iran's been threatening cyber attacks, so you know how it is with these small caps. They'll find any reason to go for a run. Shipping companies, the Strait of Hormuz closing maybe. I mean, there's crazy catalysts, potential catalysts coming. So we're keeping an eye out. Obviously, oil can continue. This might turn into an all-day fader. Well, I don't know. It's all going to depend on how this morning plays out for Indo. So this either turns into an all-day fade, disgusting failed breakout move, or it holds up kind of sideways for the rest of the day. CL selling off right now. Bigly selling off. Bigly selling off. Yep. So this is forecasting a failed breakout on Indo, but still kind of early to tell. IBO, is this the one that destroys the short sellers today? We've been getting one of these every other day, it seems like. Man. So hard to click the buy button on these. UNH signal. I'll dabble with it. Yeah, but if it's down, it can keep going down. Yeah, it's not the best maybe, but it did have at least this kind of a bounce move from 297, 298. It bounced up to 302.50. So there is a decent bounce there for the signal. So this is the reversion strategy. So we want it to bounce and then short when it comes back down. I won't overstay, and I'm super small in this, so I am going to be trying to size up the strategy on the big caps. You want the right side of the V? How do you know it's not an M or a W? Not looking for those. All right, Indo back down to 680. So it's going to pull back to the breakout level. We'll see if it can hold the breakout or not. Yeah, I won't overstay this, but sometimes these morning moves out of the gate, they have continuation, they have some follow through. Sometimes they just bounce. But I can tell you, I believe UNH, the trend line is here. So I'm zooming out to the 1 hour chart right here. So nice little trend line here. So it has room towards 190 or 294 to pull back. So it kind of supports the bigger picture. And of course, I won't stick around for that long, but I just want a little dip maybe to 298. Yeah, so that's looking good. I'll start locking some in. I mean, I'm just doing experimental size basically on this. This is kind of my third day trying this strategy. So I am green every day. And I really like to use on Thinkorswim the buy, bid, and sell ask buttons. If there's some crazy spread, you get filled in the spread, so you get to take advantage of the spread. And then if you ever do short selling with a special broker, that's basically how you have to do it. And it makes you be a little bit more patient and also time your entries and exits. You have to plan ahead a little bit so that you should get your fills where you want. All right, nice pullback on UNH. I mean, this is pretty much all I wanted from this. Okay, we're out of that. Nice trade. So I just got this set up for the alerts. So this strategy will alert me, and I have it set up on some smaller charts on another screen for all the stocks that I want to do this strategy with. So that way I have the signal on all those charts, and then it will alert me if one sets up. And if I like it, I'll trade it. So I don't trade them all. It does look like we might get some more triggers here, possibly CoreWeave. Tesla's pushing pretty nice. Yeah, I see your monster position on Indo. That was sick. I mean, when you make 50%, gotta take that. IBO is in fact squeezing the shorts. Man, it really seems like somebody is targeting these short sellers and just totally blowing them out every other day or so. We get a crazy, crazy one. All right, so we got to keep an eye out for the vaccine stocks. This one is a vaccine stock. I mean, maybe not exactly, but it's in that sector. And when we get one popping like this, it's like canary in the coal mine type of thing. You think CrowdStrike will set up? Looks a little sparse. Kind of sparsely traded. I'm not sure if it's gonna be. It could be okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would trade CrowdStrike. It's just I don't like how it moves, so I'll probably just avoid that one. It's not a bad thought though because of the cyber stuff. You got a good on UNH. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like that was a decent place to get out. I just yeah, I don't trust the reversals, so I don't want to let it reverse on me. So usually I grab the dip, I try to make 1.5 R pretty much. Should be pretty decent win rate on that. And my last trades on Friday were almost 100%. I could have had 100% if I stuck around a bit more on PLTR. But that one was basically break even. So I had 3 wins and 1 break even on Friday. Tesla's going nuts. So small cap's kind of boring right now. We do have mainly the oil gappers, RB&E fading now. Maybe should have shorted that. But it's only up 30%, so it's just tough for me to touch. IBO is the squeezer. You know, it's just the one that's up the best. It's got the most volume. It's the one that's most likely to squeeze. And then pretty much if you can spot that one every morning, then you have a chance to make 50%, 100% intraday. Lately, that's how it's been working out. Indo back to 650s. Indo back to 650s. Oh, back down to 6. So this is where it kind of needs to decide if it's going to hold up or if it's just going to fail all the way back to $5. That's why we sell the morning spike. Yeah, UAVs are slow. UAVs are dead now. It's mainly oil, energy, and shipping. Also Coinbase. PayPal's right back up to where it was. Should have bought that dip on PayPal the other day. Even said that would be a nice buying opportunity. I wasn't expecting it to totally come back up so fast, so I was going to wait a day or two to buy it, but it didn't wait around, so it's right back up. PayPal. So they had the Coinbase news, dropped on the 18th, caused a sell-off here on these payment processors, MasterCard, Visa, PayPal. But really, that was just a buying opportunity to get in lower. It's already back up. Tesla's going nuts. Robotaxi. Good call on morning spike. Thank you. Tesla, the inverse oil stock. True. Also, Robotaxi. Intel kind of strong too. What's going on with Intel? It's in this big wedge right now. U.S. officials plan to revoke waivers of allowing key chip makers to use American technologies in China. So they plan to revoke waivers allowing key chip makers to use American technologies in China. All right, I think we have to start trying these squeezes in the morning here. It's always a gapper. It's always something that looks like a good short. And it's usually the top gapper. You know, it's the most obvious looking one is the one that squeezes. And it was IBO today. Pretty incredible. There's pretty much nothing else in small cap right now. Honestly, OP, this is maybe the top shipping stock right now. And it is consolidating pretty nice. It does look like a backside bounce, but if it holds up, this can turn into a huge breakout. And really, the breakout level is technically 317. So if it hangs out, we could see a breakout on OP. This one is hot. This is a hot sector. So we'll keep an eye on it. Not interested yet. It's certainly within range. Yeah, crude oil weak. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see if it can make some kind of upside down head and shoulders. Hopefully this is the head. Shoulders. We have a left shoulder, a head. looking for the right shoulder. If we get the right shoulder, then this is looking super nice again. Small cap doing nothing. IBO looks like a failed breakout. Looks like a short right here now. Try a small position on it. Short at 128. Google alerted. Okay, let's take a look at that. Well, that looks pretty good. We'll take a whack at it. Trying to, okay. Let's see it. Seems like a lot of stuff is popping. In big caps, at least. Small caps are kind of dead. SPY's green. IBO trying to squeeze. Got to survive this bounce, and then we're good to go, I think, on that. Yeah, Google's bouncing off of this UTL line. It's a nice looking trend line for Google. Scotty's long Google off the UTL. Beautiful trade. Got the bottom right into the top there. Bottom to top. Amazing. Got squeezed in IBO. Really got to start buying those. All right, well, I'm gonna have to get going. We had a nice trade on the Indo swing. One SIG trade on UNH. Trying Google. SIG thinks Google goes up, so still in that. But mainly watching IBO. Potentially could come down later. Shipping companies for swings. Oil's still hot. But that'll be it for today. Good luck. We'll be back tomorrow.